So you can talk. You're live.
Am I?
You are.
Oh, I was hoping we were going to pop in. Well, hello, everybody. Yeah, please join the chat if you can. We're here to have a round table discussion, or I suppose motivational um, discussion specifically. This is just basically going to be um, all of us trying to keep each other going. I should introduce myself. My name is Crystal. I go by Shrouded Scales. Although you might know me from the past as Cujo cosplay. Although you might know me from the past.
I'm Rachel. I typically go by Athena Rain Costuming. Been in the hobby for 10 years now, and I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. So yeah, people want to join in the chat. I'm actually trying to get the
only
live.
thing is, sorry, if you do decide to join in the chat, you have to mute your Twitch stream so you don't get a sound echo. That's the only thing.
Oh yes. And it's a little delayed apparently. There we go. Oh yes. Oh. And it's a little delayed apparently. There we go. There we go. Okay. Oh. So yeah, if people just want to comment in the chat, I'll be able to see it, but it will be slightly delayed. So the plan, I just wrote down a couple of questions, and so I'll read them out, and they give everyone a chance to think about what they would want to include into the conversation by telling my own point of view, putting in my own little 2 cents, and you can add as well if you want. So we'll start off with a fun one, I guess. What helps you get back in the groove when you're working on your cosplays and you're, having a writer's block or an artist's block? What gets you back into it? For me, it's a couple of different things. Most effective thing I find is posting my progress online for others to comment on, and just even getting the likes tends to help motivate me to just keep going, because people are looking forward to seeing the end result. What else? Crafting with friends, I find, also helps. Just getting other people doing something similar to this and just working on stuff while you chat and hang out. Anything to add?
For me, I like to go back to my original source material, go back to why I was excited to make this costume in the first place. If it's a Legend of Zelda character, go back and play one of my favorite games, or go to Pinterest and look at more artwork based character that I'm making. Get excited all over again. Character really helps motivate me when I've hit my block.
That's a good one. Yeah, sometimes I'll do that too if it's a certain character and I'm sort of losing touch a little bit. I'll go back and watch a couple episodes, jump back into the game, and try to get that back in the mood, I suppose. The whole genre or whatever it is you're playing. Yeah, anyone else have some input? Oh, we have Rickrobat. Finding content on YT that discusses the media helps get hyped for the project again. Oh, that's a good one too. Working on projects that provide a new challenge of some sort. Yes. Trying a new technique out or something like that can definitely help.
I find that one tends to be a me thing too. I'm I really want to make this, and then I design it all out. Now I haven't made stuff for a long time, unfortunately, but I have plans and sketches for lots of things.
And then you don't want to get too overwhelmed. You can't have too many things going on because then you can't focus on one thing. I was no, back on track. Let's go watch this episode of this thing. Get back on track. See if anyone else has anything to add. Also, how about that masquerade? That was
It
great.
was so good. So good. I was like
Some fun stuff.
watching masquerades and learning about like costumes and panels. I find helps me a lot. Like if I'm watching YouTube or watching something, and I was like, oh, that's how they built that, or that's how they did that. I'm like, now I want to try to do something too.
I only joined at like the last video, so like I was only able to see the last one, which that one was nice.
The masquerade is going to get posted to our YouTube probably at 9 o'clock. I think is what I have it set for pre-post. So you will be able to see it.
Similarly, listening to podcasts and such about cosplay and just seeing other people working on things. Also, I like historical stuff as well. So historical costuming has really taken off over the pandemic. And seeing those things and seeing how people are making those makes me excited to make things like that as well.
Oh yeah, so I don't do cosplays yet. I am trying to make money so I can like make cosplays. That is actually something that I'll try to that I like. So I get. I'm trying to figure out a way to put this, but art. I look at other people's cosplays and art and get inspiration from it, and find my own ways to draw it. I'm not the best at art yet, not the best at proportions, but I am still looking at other people's art and trying to find my own ways to design it is like really good way of me figuring out my art.
We have a comment from Kia Ara saying that Kanji's Discord cosplay discussion thread was quite motivational for them getting their costume done in 10 days, which is just what I consider a speed build. I take months to work on my costumes. And then Captain Pira also says that they get distracted by shiny new cosplays as their biggest problem in finishing the old ones. And I feel that. I have a cosplay list a mile long, and I'm trying to focus on one to get it finished.
Yeah, I'm just like Captain Pira. It's like, I have an idea, but then I'll go and watch a new show or play a new game, and I'm like, ooh, I want to make that now.
I am very much
it's
distracted by shiny objects.
Captain Hook cosplay of the captain. Oh yeah, how's our volumes? Is that a little better now?
I just turned us down a little bit so that we weren't hitting the red when people are speaking. So I think it's better now.
Okay, all right. On to another question. What is your biggest struggle for getting stuff done? Like if you're not working on cosplay, say you're like having a bad, mental state and just not feeling it at all. What do you think what do you do to like get yourself going? Or what do you find the hardest part is? For me, it's just starting. Just like actually sitting down and forcing yourself to do it is like the biggest struggle, because you're like, oh, I don't need it for like another couple months. I'm still too quiet, apparently.
I just turned you up.
All right. Thank you. Lost my train of thought a little bit there. Yeah, just starting when you're in a bad headspace and you don't feel like doing anything like that. You kind of just have to like force yourself to do it, because once you just like start going at something, even if it's just something small, once you get the momentum going, I find that's from there you're fine. But the biggest struggle is just getting yourself to that point where you're sitting down and working on something. Any other input?
I think for me, the hardest part is finding a reason to finish, especially when the pandemic happened and conventions stopped and the world ground to a halt. I felt like I also ground to a halt. And it's been hard finding motivation to finish those. But I found that booking things with friends, to do with friends, with costuming, really helps get you back on track. Whether it be a photo shoot, a small meetup, going to smaller conventions that are maybe a little safer with masking, things like that.
I agree, yeah. Just having a reason to do it, for sure. Even just like, you want to like make a little skit for yourself to put on TikTok or something. Just to again, so people are seeing what you're doing and are able to like motivate you or like give you some encouragement. Yeah, just the likes will do so much. Hello. Please.
How's it going?
Good. We're talking about
Thanks for joining.
how we motivate each other to finish our tasks.
Ah, nice.
I was like,
Then-
I tend to be motivated by my deadlines.
Okay.
I am a chronic procrastinator. If anyone who knows me,
Guilty.
if anyone who knows me, they know exactly what I'm talking about. But I just find that I have a hard time focusing on something if I can't focus on one thing. If I focus on one thing because the deadline's coming up, I find it much easier to be able to allot all of my time and effort to one thing, being like, well, I can't go do this and this and this because I have to get this done. But at the same time, because I know that's the way I work, sometimes I'm like, well, then maybe I just shouldn't do it because then I don't stress about getting the thing done. So I definitely need to work on that.
That's been right now for sure is having, like, I used to be able to powerhouse through something on like a tight deadline. It's like, oh, the con's in a week, I can do this, but it would never get done to like the level I wanted, like to the perfection that I wanted. And now that's getting even harder to do just because I don't have as much energy to put towards it. And just, I'll just give up instead of pushing myself because it's not worth the stress. There'll be other events.
I was dealing with over the pandemic, not just the pandemic conditions which slowed things down, but also I was being a full-time caregiver, which was very hard to find the time to even put stuff towards it if I wanted to. So trying to figure that out again on the other side of that is becoming an interesting challenge as well, and just how to rework that into my time budget.
Absolutely. Things have changed so much, and I think we're all trying to just adjust to just the new way that things are happening around us.
I think something that's really important to note, though, is that you're allowed to take breaks. You are absolutely allowed to slow down, take a step back, and rekindle your love for it. Because sometimes absence makes your heart grow fonder.
Oh, absence 110% makes you. I mean, like I said, I haven't actually built a costume for a couple years just because, I'm a mom and I don't have a lot of time to be able to do the size builds that I like to do for cosplays. There's not a lot of space, which I find very frustrating sometimes because like I really want to do this. I want to do this, but I just don't have the time or energy because, as we get older, we can't do the all-nighters, only 2 hours of sleep to continue sewing to get the costume done for the con the next day. Like, we just... some of us just can't do that anymore.
Nope, definitely not. Let's take a second to doggo. There was a doggo.
There was a doggo.
On screen. All right. How are we doing for time?
8:26.
Okay. Let's move on. Another question. What's your favorite medium or method to work on that makes you feel the most inspired and most comfortable to work with? For me, it's building like things out of found objects and incorporating that into craft foam. Anything that I love, craft foam. It's always been my like top medium, and it forever will be. I love Warbla, and I think 3D printing is really cool, but like foam's where it's at for me. It's gonna always be my baby.
Whereas I am completely the opposite direction. I am fabric based. I love sewing, not necessarily hand sewing and embroidery, but just general garment construction, manipulating a flat piece of large fabric into a unique skirt shape or a unique blouse, and just manipulate the fabric into a whole bunch of different shapes.
I get most inspired when I'm making a mess. The bigger the mess, the more inspired I am. And I don't know if it's a bit of a guilty thing of going, okay, I've made this giant mess. So while the giant mess is out, I need to finish it as much as I can so I can put the giant mess back away.
But then
Honestly,
the giant mess.
I can really agree, though.
Carhunger, sculpting, casting, and electronics. Ooh.
Very cool. Casting electronics. I need to know more about this. Or you mean casting and electronics?
Yeah, like sculpting,
Oh,
casting,
okay.
sorry,
Separate thing.
and electronics.
So you probably make really cool props. I'm going to assume.
They were the ones that had the fairy wings in the masquerade.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, those were awesome. Like the fiber optics. I think that's what it was.
Yes.
Very cool. Anyone else have something to say? I had a thought and then I lost it, but it should come back to me at some point. It was about the mess, I find. But that actually kind of goes into one of my other questions. I guess I'll just go to it since it kind of works. How do you keep from getting overwhelmed during crunch time? I find taking the time sometimes while everything is going on, step aside from the project and clean the workspace. Get rid of the clutter, get rid of the things you don't really need anymore, get things reorganized, and then you can go back and tackle the actual work without it being just like a disaster.
I will be back.
I was gonna say, yeah, I tend to go and do something completely different, like go for a walk, go ride, do something completely off track, and then I'm a notebook person, so I'm always constantly scribbling in my notebook about different things. So I'm like, I'm gonna step away from it, and then if I'm happen to have a great idea, I'll write it down, and then I can go back with sort of fresh ideas on a project if I'm struggling with it.
For me, I'm probably a unique one. I like to schedule myself certain times of the day when I know I'm going to be my most productive. I'm very much all about time management. So I'm like, okay, tomorrow's Sunday. I'm going to give myself from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. to just solely dedicate myself to this one part of my project. And I find by setting that time aside, and I let my family members know that, hey, from this time to this time, I'm unavailable, it actually gives me the freedom to work the way I want to.
That's really important to be able to schedule yourself. I am not good at it, but I approve and applaud everyone who is good at scheduling, because I think it does make your life much easier and less stressful when you're trying to do any sort of project. But I'm not one of them.
Yeah, I'm like that too. If I'm not like in the mood to actually work on things, I find making a list is helpful. Like just sitting down and breaking down what I have, all the things I have to do, all the different parts, and then even going deeper than that and, focusing on one of the items and saying, okay, I need to do this and this and this. I need to, sculpt, paint it, prime it, and even like jot down little ideas of like how I'm going to go about doing the different things, so that it's all like really laid out, and I have like almost a blueprint of everything that I need to do, and it's in my mind how I'm going to do it, so that when I actually go tackle it, it'll be much easier to just jump in.
I see Chris in the chat. They just tend to find gaps in time and throw themselves in, which I applaud. I find gaps in time, and then I'm like, I'm going to have a nap.
And you can lose track of time too when you on something, and then things always take much longer than you think they're going to take, I find.
Yeah,
it's like if you're going to schedule it, give yourself double time.
Sewing time is about a quarter as fast as you think it is.
Yep.
Agreed. Also, sewing time isn't just sewing time. It's patterning, cutting out fabric pieces, arranging the pieces in the order that they need to be assembled. It's once you actually get it to the machine, that's the easy part. It's everything that comes before that. That's the tricky part.
It's the easy part so long as you sew it the right way the first time.
There's always seam rippers. Just don't talk to me when I have one.
If you're holding the seam ripper, stay away. But yeah, you have to give yourself time for things that might go wrong, and it will probably happen, guaranteed, at some point. Slows us down, but it makes it easier to lose time. It keeps going because we don't know the time. Yeah.
When they're working in front of the TV or live on air.
Yeah, actually, that's putting something on helps me. Like, for me, it's the Critical Role podcasts. Like, when I have those on, every Thursday night, I get stuff done because I have that playing and I'm listening to it and watching it. And then I have this all my space and I zone in and I do stuff while I'm listening to the podcast. So I find that that's a good way to do it. Have something that's or like a comfort show. Everyone has a comfort show that they've seen it 5 times, but they still love watching it. Put that on in the background and just go.
And Captain Pierre just made a great comment about having the fit be right on the first try. That is
like a chef's kiss.
I think I use the same 4 patterns over and over again now just because I know they fit me properly. I'm always afraid of new patterns. I'm like, how am I going to have to tweak this?
And it's almost worth putting in the effort to like perfect your mock-up so that once you get to the final product and that you get that beautiful, like, yes, it's good, move on.
And it's funny because I was like, I find that sometimes that's the hardest step for me, is that I'm a very just do it sort of person. So like anytime there's any sort of, it needs to be the right fit or it needs to look good, especially like trying to do a costume for a masquerade where you want to get workmanship judging on it, you sort of sit there and go, okay, I can do it the way that I naturally want to do it, that will be much quicker, but it's not going to look good if I want it judged at any sort of level. Or for example, my husband, he's made me do a couple costumes for him, and he's like, I love him to death, but he's very particular about the details, that the details are right. And I'm like, okay, this is not fun anymore. Because here, you have the sewing machine and you do it yourself. If you're going to criticize, what I'm doing. But at the same time, at the end of the day, when it's done, I'm like, I'm really proud of that. I'm glad you pushed me hard enough to do it the right way the first time.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like there's like 2 categories of cosplays. You have your competition costumes where you're putting in all that extra effort to make sure that everything is done right. And then you have your more like your casual cosplays where it's like, I'm just wearing this for fun, to join a group or just to get some silly photos. And it doesn't have to be perfect because it's not going to get entered in anything. So you can make all the little shortcuts and the fun stuff. Healing what?
It seems that I can't read the screen name because it's in blue.
Christine just said that she had to go because her appetite's returned, so they're going to make some food. So hopefully she's better for tomorrow's panel. So I was like, feel better, and then I couldn't spell. No, the drinks panel isn't for another 30 minutes. I know.
Drinks. I'm excited for that, actually. I'm down to one more question, honestly, and it's a fun one. I kind of left the fun one for the end, although if we still have 30 minutes, we'll have to improvise. But just I guess let's all share what our goals are for this year.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah. I'll start.
Okay, go.
I'm going to focusing because I'm in a state where I definitely can't accomplish as much as I used to. So I'm going to dedicate myself to one elaborate cosplay. It's like a high detailed competition, workmanship level project. And it's going to be Ashton from Critical Role Campaign 3. It's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to enter it in a masquerade. Don't know which one yet. I'm not going to force it to any certain date or anything. I'm just going to work on it, not rush it, and when it's ready, enter it. Although I do want to actually have it wearable for YetiCon at least, because I know there'll be a lot of always is. Besides that, I'd like to at least enter 2 competitions. So one with that costume whenever it's ready, and then do a more fun entry, more of a stage performance than anything. With it's a costume that I've been working on the last couple of weeks. I almost got an entry in for this. Happened. But the costume is about 90% done. It's the Cult of the Lamb Djinka. It's like a very basic costume. And, yes, the Gem Boy! And I hope I can get pictures with you and your fern. That'd be really cool. Because your fern is beautiful. Yeah, so with the Cult of the Lamb one, it's a simple costume, but it has a lot of, great potential as a stage skit. So those are my goals. The one, workmanship focused, awesome, big competition costume, and then a more casual, fun competition costume. And then also any other cosplays I want to do, I have a bunch that I've only worn once or twice and never really finished. Like my Sisu Djinka, which I wanted done for last YetiCon. I only have a couple pictures of it from a beach party I did in the summer. It's still not completely finished though, so I'm going to focus on getting it perfected and then bring it to the next YetiCon.
It's super.
Those are my 3 big goals.
So my goals are pretty lofty for myself this year. I'm hoping to finish No Flutter's Umbreon design for Anime North and compete with it. I also plan on helping my child with her first ever cosplay that they're going to make for Anime North. So those are 2 big projects coming up quite soon. I know May seems so far away for some people, but in the world of a mom, it comes fast. And then my other big goal is to make the Sekizo Hydrangea dress Rococo style for Fan Expo Toronto to compete in the Masters of Cosplay competition.
Oh yeah, I always forget about that competition. Good goal.
It's lofty.
You have lots of time, at least.
But she has lots of mom time. That doesn't always count as actual time. I was like, oh, heck, my goal, I have, my low bar is to get a costume done of any kind for me. Not my husband, not my children, for me. And then my really big lofty goal, because I happen to have it on my desk, is that. Because I'm insane, and that would be really cool.
Oh, that's amazing.
Wow.
It's the Nowhere King from Central World.
I just finished watching that. It's so good.
And I'm like, I don't know what it is about that character, but I'm like, I want to make it. I don't know how I'm going to make it, but I want to make it. So I have to have a written description of where I'm going to put said costume before I'm allowed to start it from my husband.
You would do the full-on mascot version?
Oh, yeah. It's a 2-person costume. You need 2 people.
Oh, wow.
Because, like I said, that is my, there's the really high one, and then there's the one I just want to make a costume. A costume.
Because you could do a cool Djinka of that, too.
I could, but it just would be so much cooler.
Oh my god, yes. I would love to see that. That show is so good.
See, maybe that's the motivation I need, is I told everyone that I want to do it. Ah.
Yeah, you gotta tell people what you're doing, what you're working on, and show them progress, because then they'll be like, yeah, you got this!
I'm personally really bad at taking progress photos. 'Mainly because I'm self-conscious. I don't know. 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 I don't the internet isn't always kind to those that are plus size. So I'm always wary of posting pictures of myself on the internet because I just don't want to see the hateful.
You just gotta do it in like a group, you know, like with your safe space with the people that you trust, you know.
Is that a cat?
That is.
Is there a cat? Kitty!
Gosh, I have like 2 calicos at home. Is that a calico?
Yeah, she's a calico. She's
my
telling
gosh.
me that it's dinner time.
I have a calico right next to me.
That's
So
why-
does anyone in the chat have any big costume plans for the coming year?
Yes, tell us your plans.
Well, one thing that I'm actually what I've been working on over the course of the convention is actually upsizing some wig heads, because I am hoping to make an actual wig out of Cyberlocks. Or more of a headpiece, really, because there's going to be goggles, and it's going to be an actual wig, though, because it's Hatsume Mei from My Hero Academia, and doing that out of Cyberlocks would look very cool. So
That would be amazing.
Ooh.
It's really cool.
that is my current project, and I also want to get a couple more cosplays done, because I've not made anything in a couple years, and I don't know if I fit any of my old stuff, so...
Oh, I hear.
Oh
that.
yeah, that's a big pandemic thing right there. I have I have all these costumes, but none of them fit anymore. And do I feel like altering them? No.
We can't hear you, Amy. You're turned off. Your mic's turned off. If Amy was trying to talk.
Oh.
No, I don't hear an Amy still.
That art, so I can actually like take in commissions, because I'm that's right now. I'm trying really hard.
Can you hear me?
I just really want to take in commissions so I can actually make money.
It's turning green. Can you hear me?
Oh, you're cutting in and out.
But I can't hear you now. That's good.
Oh, we can hear you now, Amy. So what's your big project, Amy? Other than the one you just finished in 10 days.
Same with Captain Pyrrha. What are you working on next?
Yes,
You always
Captain
make-
Pyrrha! You always make good stuff. Yeah, I used to do commissions too, and then that sort of fell off because I got so distracted making masks for people, because that's all everyone wanted. And it kind of ruined sewing for me a little bit. Or, sorry, no, a lot.
I find it tough with...
I'm trying to...
Oh.
Sorry. Tech troubles. I'm back now. Hi.
Hi. What are you working on?
I'm not really working on anything right now. I just have a bunch of fabric and I have projects that are probably never going to get done, because most of them are for my dance group. But because I hurt my back, I'm not really dancing anymore. Kind of sucks, but I have a very lofty plan for a transforming costume that's probably never going to get done, but it's just
Don't
in my
say that.
head. Nothing exists yet other than an idea in my head. And a few really bad sketches of how a transformation could possibly work.
But that would be really cool. So cool.
It would be so cool to pull off a transformation on a live skit. But it will require a lot of time and a lot of planning and a lot of testing, which I'm not really well known for.
No?
At the point, my kanji outfit was done in 10 days. Ooh, Bucky.
It looked great, though.
Yeah, it
Thanks.
was awesome.
Yeah.
Captain Pyrrha, it seems that they have worked on a bunny suit for under something. They haven't told us what the something is, but the base is finished, so they get to start working on the overlayers.
Yeah, fitting a bunny suit is a heck of a job.
Yeah.
Heck of a process.
Like a bunny suit, like classic like bikini leggings, ears and a
Yeah,
tail, or like a fursuit.
They're definitely talking the form-fitted version.
Yeah. So you're looking at corsets are their own thing, and then you've got everything else. It's a challenge.
Beatrix!
Oh, Beatrix! Yes!
So excited.
You're gonna kill it.
Oh, I realize I'm not.
That will be super fun. Mine, I'm trying to design a steampunk Meloetta Gijinka that transforms between the Arya and the pirouette form.
Oh my god. You could pull
But
it.
right now it's just in my head.
That's the first step.
That's true.
I love how
That is the
every-
first step.
Ears on now.
Yeah, these are all the staff.
Join the
working
ear
on Pokemon.
party.
Ear party. It's because when I ran kanji, if anyone was in the Pokemon panel earlier today, we were talking about like how you dress becomes your power suit a little bit. These are my power ears.
Power.
My power ears.
Can
Unfortunately,
you charge your phone with those?
Oh, that'd be awesome. But no.
I mean, technically they are electrically charged.
They would be. I actually almost kept them on when I went out to grab dinner tonight, which would have been a little bit interesting and fun in a small
It
town.
would have made someone's night.
I tried to convince Solsharia to wear the Umbreon ears for the next panel. She didn't like that idea.
That would have been cool, though.
Umbreon is my favorite Pokemon.
Ooh. I like old Pokemon. Mostly the evolutions, though.
I actually really like a lot of the newest Gen ones. Like for the past,
A friend made this for me.
the past like 2 or 3 gens have been really disappointing Pokemon design wise, but the newest game actually has a ton of designs that I am kind of really in love with. There's a couple that I want to design Gijinkas for and possibly cosplay.
So I don't like change, so I only know the 151. My kid, however, knows all of them. I am clueless as the mom.
Kitty!
Kitty.
Kitty.
My kitty is not obliging.
Your kitty's not obliged.
Kitty.
We had a kitty here earlier. During the
Kitty?
masquerade, we had a kitty. He's gone now. He ran away.
My kitty was in the masquerade. Weren't you? Are you gonna come say hi?
Your 3
There she
kitties are in
is.
the masquerade.
There she
I
is.
have 5 cats, so you might see more later.
Kitty.
They take care of very expensive.
Oh, kitty!
Nope, she's walking away. She's leaving.
Bye, Kitty.
So I have a question. When you were saying, Crystal, that when you post progress pictures, you find that it pumps you up, does it ever do the opposite, like makes you a little bit more anxious about trying to get it done at all, or?
Only if I've learned my lesson. I used to announce that I was going to have a certain costume for a certain convention, and I would be posting the progress because I'd be working on it, but then I'd get to a point that I didn't think it was going to get done in time, and then that's when I would get anxious, is when it's like, oh, I've made everyone expect me to have this done for this certain event, and that's when it gets a little stressful. So I've stopped doing that. It's like, I'll tell people what I'm working on, and I'll show them the progress and everything, but I don't plan things for certain conventions anymore. It's like, when it's done, it's done. What will be, will be.
Smart.
Very smart.
But it does add a little pressure too. Like sometimes you'll post something, like I have started Ashton, I have, The only thing I've done is his hair. I've started like he has like gem hair made out of like crystals and stuff, and I've started building it. This was like probably a year ago that I started, or like when the campaign first started, whenever that was, and I posted that, and it blew up. Like got like thousands of likes, but then I haven't touched it since. But I was like, oh my god, people really want to see this, so like I feel pressured to finish it, but I'm also like I want to finish it, and I'm motivated to do it, but it's going to be at my own pace.
You've got time.
Wacky cosplay made to make people cry. Of course, people want to see it.
Assuming the character doesn't die in the campaign, you got lots of time.
Oh man, can you imagine? I don't finish it and that happens. I'm like, no.
No.
You'd be walking around with a big spoiler attached to your spoiler. I'm a walking spoiler.
Long may
Just
he
show up
reign.
and like that's the death scene, cosplaying the character, and make everybody cry. Yeah, that'd be cruel of me.
That would be cruel. I remember there was a huge trend for like when Madoka came out. It's not spoilers anymore. That's long enough ago that I can say it without it being spoilers. The Mame Tomoe death scene. There's a huge trend of that being something that people cosplayed.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yeah, I don't know that
Or the
reference.
cosplay, not the plot.
I think it's kind of funny when people do that, but only if it's been long enough that you're not just like walking spoiler.
But then sometimes you're okay because the cosplay is so different from something that happens in the show that if you haven't gotten up to that point, it's not a spoiler. You don't have no idea what it's from yet.
It's like, what? I don't get it. What's happening?
I don't understand. Yeah.
AMVs that contain warnings on the top of them that are like, this AMV contains spoilers, and you watch them and you're like, I don't know what any of those spoilers were. And then you go back and watch them later and like, oh yeah, that was really spoilery, but I didn't get it because I had no context before.
That's true. Even if he does, it's fine.
All right.
It's true, there were a whole lot of Campaign 1 spoilers, Molly Mock cosplayers after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say, so 1 to 2 more minutes there, Crystal, if you want to wrap up motivation, if anyone has some inspirational words to end on.
Do cosplay, be awesome.
Yes. For the cosplay, not the plot. That's a good one. Yeah, I guess. Well, let's see. Just do what you're doing and pace yourself. I know a lot of us are guilty of the procrastinating and then just like pushing it for like a certain event, which can be motivational sometimes because like it gives you a goal. But do always put your health first. Never put yourself through the stress. Make sure you're getting the sleep and you're eating and you're not, driving yourself into a hole. Like, if it's too much, acknowledge that, put it aside. You'll get another chance. There's conventions all the time. So, don't. It's supposed to be fun, not stressful. So make sure you do that. And if you need inspiration, go to your friends. That's what we're here for, right? We're a community. Let's inspire each other, motivate each other.
I was gonna say my ending words are: get it done. It doesn't have to be perfect. It could be half-assed. If it gets it off your queue list of things that you want to work on, don't worry too much about the details. Just get it done and then you can move on.
What was it that Lara said on his stream today? Perfection is the enemy of product or productivity or something like that. It was a good line. I liked it.
It was a good line.
That is a good line.
Also, finished not perfect is kind of my mantra these days.
I think that should be everyone's mantra. It's done. It's not perfect, but it's done. All right. Well, thank you so much. Oh, did you have any more?
No,
you're good.
no, I'm good.
Okay, thank you so much, my lovely panelists that have popped in. And Crystal, thank you so much for coming up with this idea for a panel. It's been fun. Coming up next at 9 is The Owl House, We Need a Drink, hosted by Silcerna and Kiara. So we're going to go to that.
I have to go and set that up.
You should probably go and set that up. Yeah.